Summer's a gift. The gift of days that last a little longer, a brighter state of mind. So gift yourself a new Kia at the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event, with specially tagged vehicles including the Sorento, Sportage, Carnival, as well as the Niro Hybrid. All backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So the gift of summer can keep on giving for summers to come. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Event ends 7/6/26. See dealer for warranty details.
Your wedding begins here. You've found your person. Now find your perfect place. Welcome to Marin County, where your love story meets its perfect setting. Exchange vows beneath ancient redwoods on a sun-kissed beach or overlooking the sparkling San Francisco Bay. Whether you're planning an intimate elopement or a grand affair, Marin offers the space and the spirit to make your wedding uniquely yours. Discover where forever begins at visitmarin.org and explore the weddings page for details.
Welcome to the Gospel Addict Podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Jim Reski.
We're gospel addicts because we believe the gospel of Jesus isn't just good news, it's the best news ever.
We're addicted to the gospel because it doesn't just start us out in the Christian life, it is the Christian life.
Join us as we look at the Bible through the lens of the gospel.
Thanks so much for listening.
Okay, could somebody, Ben wants to continue reading down here. Verses 14 to 25. Thanks, Ben.
We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is no longer I myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. This I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. So I find this law at work. Although I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For in my inner being, I delight in God's law. But I see another law at work in me, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within me. What a wretched man I am. Who will rescue me from this body that is subject to death? Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then I myself, in my mind, am a slave to God's law, but in my sinful nature, a slave to the law of sin.
The fourth way that we see how the gospel changes us is the gospel exposes the deep war within us. Romans 7 is one of the most honest chapters in the Bible about the human heart. Paul begins by defending the law against potential misunderstanding. Is the law sin? Absolutely not. The law is holy, righteous, and good. But then Paul makes a startling observation about what the law actually does when it meets the human heart. He describes it as a greenhouse effect on sin. For apart from the law, sin was dead. The commandment came, you shall not covet, revealed and intensified the very desire it prohibited. Augustine, again, illustrated this in his book, The Confessions. He told a story about how he just went to a neighbor's orchard and he stole a bunch of pears. And then as he reflected on that, he's like, why did I steal the pears? I wasn't hungry. I don't even like pears. And he ends up throwing the pears to these pigs to just get rid of them. And as he reflected on it, he said, the reason I stole the pears is because somebody told me I'm not allowed to do it. The very prohibition awakened a desire that hadn't been there before. There is something deep within the fallen human nature that says, nobody tells me how to live. When the moral law bears down on that instinct, even in subtle, sophisticated forms, it doesn't eliminate the rebellion, it feeds it. This is not the law's fault. It's our fault. It's our sin. Having diagnosed the problem of the law and sin, Paul now turns to his inner experience in verses 14 to 25. And what he describes is devastating. He calls it the deep splitness of the human heart. For I do not understand my own actions. I do not do what I want to do, but I do the very thing I hate. Paul, the great apostle, the man who wrote most of the New Testament, confesses that he cannot do what he wants to do. He knows the right. He desires the right. He finds in himself no power to carry it out. Notice his language in verse 20. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me. That word dwells, that's important to think about, because the word dwells shows us that sin is not something that merely acts on us from the outside or temporarily visits us and can be shooed away. It's at home in us. It resides in us. It's deeply rooted in us. So here's the truth we must come to grips with. We are far more capable of terrible things than we want to believe. Situations, stress, temptation, pressure can act like Jekyll's potion, and what comes out just might shock us. Romans 7 says the problem goes to the very root, the sinful motives of the heart. But the passage ends not in despair, but in a cry of hope. Who will rescue me from this body that is subject to death? Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord. The honest acknowledgement of the depth of the problem is not the end. It's what turns us towards the only one who can actually help us. There's another word that describes the deep war within the Christian, and I think it's a great word that describes the Christian life. It's the word struggle. Struggle is a great word to describe the war within. Mature Christians are more aware of their sin than immature Christians because they're growing closer to God's holiness, not further from it. The presence of the battle is not proof that you've failed. The presence of the battle is proof that God is working. Dead men don't fight sin. Living men do. Before conversion, sin feels natural. After conversion, sin feels foreign. And that struggle is evidence that your heart has changed. Genesis 32 shows us a man wrestling all night with God. Jacob will not let go, even as the dawn approaches, even as his hip is permanently wrenched out of its socket. I will not let go unless you bless me, he says. He walks away limping for the rest of his life, and he's renamed Israel, which means the one who struggles with God. The limp wasn't proof that Jacob had lost his faith. It was proof that he had wrestled with the living God and survived. So here's my point. Romans 7 says the same thing about your ongoing battle with sin. The struggle that exhausts you isn't evidence that you're losing your faith. It's evidence that you have faith.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Gospel Addict Podcast. Feel free to contact us via email at gospeladdictpodcast@gmail.com.
Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember, on your worst days, you're never beyond the reach of God's grace, and on your best days, you're never beyond the need of God's grace.
See you next time.